Hello, everybody. We are coming to you just purely audio. This is the third episode of The Young and the Anxious. Um, my name is Austin,
My name is Abby,
and we are your hosts for today.
and always.
And always. How are you feeling today?
I could be better.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing okay. Um, I I feel like it was a pretty eventful weekend.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I figured, that's something that we might be able to talk about a little bit is what we did this weekend. Sunday, so we were invited by my really good friend William. He's my best friend. I mean, I've known him
Since before I was born.
Yeah. I've known him since the second grade. He is like a brother to me. Um, and he invited Abby, myself, and our mom to go and see the Trans Siberian Orchestra, and it was awesome. The show was incredible, but I know the three of us, because it's a big crowd and it's a lot's going on and everything. We were all a little bit apprehensive about going, but that's to any event. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't narrowed down to just that. It's really to any event that will be like a big deal.
Yeah.
We, but I mean, we got there. We were all kind of anxious about going, but we got there. It was freezing, and
it was raining.
I was about to say it was raining, so that added to the kind of discomfort. Um, but I mean, I think it went. Or I think we all did, really well. My main thing was that I wasn't going to be able to enjoy myself. I was going to be so fixated on worrying or on my anxiety that I was going to end up like missing the show, being there and actually seeing it, but being in my own head that I'm not paying attention. And because that's happened to me a lot. I've gone to I've gone to see movies in the movie theater, and when the movie's over, I'm like, the hell did I just watch? Like I couldn't even pay attention. I'm so wrapped up in my own anxious feelings that I end up missing basically the whole movie. But no, I mean, I think we all did excellent. We found our seats, sat down, kind of, talked and joked around a bit while we were waiting for the show to start. And the show, I mean, we stayed for the whole thing. We didn't have to excuse ourselves because we were, too anxious or anything. I think we genuinely had a good time. And we were able to pay attention, which is the best part. Because the concert was phenomenal. I mean, it was incredible. But but one thing that what I wanted to kind of bring up in this episode was the fact that I do have a slight issue with crowds and kind of being in the midst of a big event like that. I think it's like a claustrophobic thing to me.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is with you.
Yeah, it's just like I feel like everybody's staring at me, even though like during I've brought this up during therapy. I've brought this up to people around me, like mom, and they're always like, well, they're always focused on themselves and stuff, but I'm focused on myself, but how people see me, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and I can 100% agree with that because with dealing with what we go through on a daily, if we do have an event that we're going to, such as like a concert, or I mean, it could be something as little as going to the movie theater. You know, you're in a dark, the event takes place in a dark room. You know, nobody's going to be looking at you, but you still are basically, well, before you leave, and even it could be days prior to it, you're fixated on thinking, okay, well, what am I going to wear? What if this happens? What if, you know, someone, if I wear this, if someone sees me, are they going to think, you know, wow, you know, like whatever it may be, whatever your insecurities are telling you to think, you know, that's basically what you're anxious about. And I have a big thing. So I like the cold weather. So I don't mind, like I will probably always live by this like little motto, which is I'd rather be too cold than too warm. And so when I am, you know, putting on outfits that are a little bit cumbersome, then I can get, you know, a little bit too warm, or I feel constricted. You know, I feel that um, that claustrophobic feeling, and what ends up happening is that will make my anxiety spike a little bit, and I feel that if I don't like it, it's not hard to explain, but I guess it's hard for me to explain because it's still an irrational fear of mine. But to get to the point, so when we went that night, what, Sunday night,
Yeah.
you know, it was, gosh, what, low 40s and raining.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding, I wore a t-shirt and shorts, no jacket, no, you know, nothing like that. And, you know, of course, it kind of goes against, you know, me not wanting people to focus on me.
Look at you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course people were, because they
Yeah.
were like, what the hell is this guy doing?
Because
You know?
everybody was wearing pants or long sleeves or something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you were the only one not wearing something like that, or at least a jacket, you know. And
Yeah.
you were the only one not.
And there were times where I would see people kind of looking at me, and I knew what they were thinking. This was the only time where you actually know what people are thinking. They're thinking, you know, why is this dude dressed so little in this, you know, climate, in this weather? And but it goes back to, I'd rather be too cold than too warm, and so I knew that if I dressed like this, I was going to be uncomfortable until we got inside, and then I was going to be able to warm up, and then on the walk back to the cars, I was going to be uncomfortable. I was going to be, cold, but when I get into the car, I can turn on the heat and, you know, be comfortable again. And so I kind of go by that. It's a little sacrifice that I make so I can be comfortable at wherever I'm going, you know, when I actually get to the destination. And so, but I feel like I've always been like that. And even now when I go for my walks, or even to the gym, I mean, you go to the gym and you see people wearing, while they're working out, you still see them wearing their
tank tops and stuff.
Well, no, like their jackets and everything.
Yeah.
They'll get to the gym and they won't change out of anything. They'll go and they'll have like a full sweater on and everything, and they'll go and they'll work out.
Nope.
And right, exactly. And I'm thinking, there's no way that I'm going to keep my jacket on, because I've tried. Like, I've genuinely tried to go and keep my jacket on, and I get too cumbersome and I have to take my jacket off. And like, I can wear like my joggers to the gym, but that's not real cumbersome. You know, that's not, I don't feel like that's like being really restricting around me. But yeah, when it comes to having a shirt and a jacket, no, I can't do it. it's such a it's too much. I can't wear all that while I'm working out. And again, like, I know, because I've seen people kind of glance at me, and I know that they're like, he's got to be cold, but it's okay. I, again, rather be too cold than too warm. So
You can always put layers on. You can't take layers off.
oh yeah, exactly.
Like, because that'd be public indecency.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't want to. I mean, I go there to work out. I don't want to scar anybody.
Yeah.
So, I want to keep my clothes on. So, I'm going there because I'm not comfortable with my clothes off. So but yeah, I think we did really well.
Yeah.
All things considered.
Yeah. With how nervous we were.
Yeah.
We definitely. Yeah. All of our bad thoughts didn't happen. What? What?
What the?
What?
I just saw that swing really, really far.
What?
One of the ornaments on the tree.
Yeah.
It was like, it wasn't swinging like that. It was swinging, like, big time. No, I'm like, you see how they're swinging right now?
Yeah.
They weren't swinging like that. It was the one. So you see the one that's kind of swinging right now?
Yeah.
The one diagonal above it? Mm-hmm. The other darker one?
Yeah.
That one was like swinging violently. And it like just started. There was no, the AC's not, or the heat's not on or anything.
You want to keep this in?
We can. We can.
You want to talk about paranormal stuff now?
We can.
That'd be fun.
Honestly,
that'd be a great segue.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, that would be a great segue. So what we just saw, we have a small tree where
like
we're
Christmas
sitting.
tree.
Yeah. There's a small Christmas tree where we're sitting, and it's got these little ornaments on it. And hand to God, one of the ornaments started swinging violently. And then it came to like a stop. All of them are kind of moving
because the fan's on.
Yeah, because the fan's on. But this is only one. Like if a draft was that big, which I don't, the heat's not on.
No.
Nothing's on. Nothing's around it. If it were to move that violently, then the others would have moved, because they're really. It's a small tree, and these ornaments are like super lightweight.
Yeah.
No, that was swinging to the point where I thought it was going to fall off. That's why I stopped mid-sentence. It's fine now.
I wish I would have seen that.
They're not swinging. Hand to God, I'm not joking, because that's why, like, you saw my face.
Yeah.
I know people can't see my face because we're doing audio.
Yeah.
Of course, of course we're doing audio this time.
Yeah.
I mean, we wouldn't have the angle of where the tree's at. We wouldn't have been able to see it, but you guys would have been able to see my reaction. But that was weird.
Well, that used to happen to me. So, but like it wouldn't be swing. So back in our old house, we had this play set that had a blue disc swing.
Oh,
you remember that?
Yeah,
at the very end.
Yep.
And it, I would be in our parents' room, and I would be sitting on the chair, and out of the corner of my eye, because the window was like directly like facing the swing set. Out of the corner of my eye, I would just see it like swinging so violently, but I would look and it wasn't. So it was just like my mind playing tricks on me.
Yeah.
So do you think that's what happened, or?
No, because I saw it come to a stop. Like, I actually was watching it come to a stop.
So you had like your eyes on it while it was swinging.
I saw something like moving pretty, extremely in my peripheral. And then when I turned, I actually saw it. It was still swinging, and it finally came to like a stop. Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so we've talked about our little bit of anxiety.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess this episode could be like labeled
the paranormal or
Well,
something.
I was gonna say it could be like crowds, and then like in parentheses, it could be like plus paranormal activity.
Yeah.
Um,
Not the movie.
yeah. I'm not saying this is paranormal. There could be a total.
Oh, I believe it is.
Oh no! Well, what I'm saying is there can always be an explanation to why things, that could be of the paranormal category. Yeah.
Yeah.
There could always be something that could actually be going on. You hear, something going on upstairs, and
Which is all the time.
Which is all the time. But I'm saying, like, if you have pets or maybe children that are upstairs, maybe that's what it was. But I would be more than happy to share a couple stories.
Yeah. I know you have a couple.
Yeah. I would be more than happy to share a couple. So, and I know people just eat this stuff up.
Yeah.
Because I do.
Yeah.
I love listening to people's paranormal, or just odd stories.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of my most compelling stories was I was probably 7, 8 years old. Yeah, I don't know if you were born yet.
If you were 7 or 8, I wasn't born until you were 9.
Right, but what I'm saying is I think I was that young. Maybe I was older, but I don't remember you being born yet.
Yeah, no, I know the story that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I don't.
But we were living in Loganville at the time, and it was a nice day out. No clouds or anything, no inclement weather, so it wasn't any outside noise. And I think it was around the springtime, so we had the windows open. I know that for sure. And our older brother, just my older brother at the time, he was outside, and he was like playing basketball or something like that. Just
being a kid.
Yeah, it was nice outside. So so I was inside, and so when you walk into this house, there's a little foyer, and you keep walking, and it opens up into this huge living room. But before you get to the living room, there's a hallway that leads. If you walk in, you turn left down this hallway, you get to the kitchen, and if you turn right, you get to the bedrooms. Well, I was in the living room with Mom at the time. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what. I think she was maybe watching TV or something along that line, and just a really relaxed day, and I remember wanting to go back into my room, so I'm in the hallway, and I'm pretty much right in front of the front door. And I'm making my way down, and there is a whistle sound that starts at the end of the hallway where the bedrooms are at. And this whistle, and it's so distinct, it's almost like it's walking towards me down the hallway. And when it gets to me,
and Mom heard it too.
Yeah, Mom's hearing it all. Like, I remember she muted the TV. We had it quiet. There was no outside noise, and we're listening to this whistle, like, come towards me. And I remember the feeling that I got when it passed me, because it went all the way into the kitchen. When it passed me, I got this cold shiver. Now, that could have been completely just me being creeped out. I was a little kid. And then when it got to the kitchen, it stopped. It was one of the most bizarre things, and I remember being freaked out appropriately. And Mom and I were both kind of speechless, and because I could tell that both of us were kind of trying to make sense of it, what it could have been, but we didn't have. And I remember this part because I remember, like, hyper analyzing everything, trying to figure out what this could have been. But there was no appropriate, or not appropriate, there's no, like, legitimate reason why we heard what we did. The AC wasn't on, the heat wasn't on, we had the windows open. It was about springtime. And so what we thought was maybe there was a plane that went overhead, or because that helicopter's not going to make that sound, but sometimes a plane will kind of make that, like, that whistle sound.
Faint whistle.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we thought maybe that's what it was. So we went. Well, I think I went outside, and I asked our older brother. I was like,
If I were mom, I wouldn't have stayed inside by myself.
oh yeah,
I wouldn't know.
yeah. It was genuinely a creepy instance. But so I went outside, and I just asked them. I was like, hey, did a plane go by? Like, was there any noise that you could hear? And he said no. He goes, I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen anything. And that's when it really set in for me. Because at first, I was creeped out for sure. But I was like, okay, like, even being that young, I'm still like trying to rationalize it as best I can. When he said that he didn't hear anything or see anything, I mean, that is by far the most compelling story for me to start believing in the paranormal. Because when you're a kid, you're always kind of, you're told typically not to be scared, like, oh, hey, it's just this, there's always a reason behind your fears. And that's what I was kind of taught. But this time there was no real reason for it. And that's only a smidge of what our whole family dealt with living in that house. That house was, I mean, if you guys believe in this stuff, I fully believe it was haunted.
Yeah.
I mean, not haunted like,
like shit flying all over.
Right, yeah. Like that, it was nothing like that. But I mean, the stuff that we dealt with was just so abnormal that there was no way that there wasn't something actually going on.
Yeah.
And I mean, well, you were pretty young when we lived in that house. So
I was 3 when we moved.
Yeah, so you don't remember.
So,
you don't
no.
remember.
I do
house.
remember this one time. I think, so with how the house was set up, I didn't have my own bedroom. I slept in our parents' room.
Right.
And there was one time I was in my crib, and I was watching, I think, like, Big Rock Candy Mountain or something.
Yeah, that.
Which is already creepy enough.
Yeah.
And the bunny had always scared me.
Well, that was an old movie or like little TV show, even for you, like for
Oh
you.
yeah, that was back in, I think, the early 80s. I think.
Big Rock Candy Mountain?
I think so.
Oh no, I thought it was early 90s, but maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. We can look it up
I
later.
was about to say,
but,
like, Jamie, can you look that up? I'm just kidding.
Do
you understand that?
No.
Okay, people who watch the Joe Rogan Experience would know.
Okay.
That's his guy that looks everything up and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I don't.
I'll actually look it up right now.
Okay. I thought it was 80s, but it might not be.
Big Rock Candy Mountain. Good Lord, it came right up. Oh, this is.
Oh, that's the song.
No, I'm looking. Oh, it's a country song.
Yeah, the Big Rock Candy.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's the song that they sing in the movie.
I apologize to anybody who's into country music. Abby just straight up was like, yeah, the Big Rock Cane, like, you didn't have to go that
I don't know the lyrics. I just know that part.
Oh, there it is. That's creepy. Oh,
Yep.
91. So it
91.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So it was early 90s.
Early 90s, yeah.
Music and educational. It was an hour and 1 minute long, and that is some of the most terrifying makeup.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. I would still watch it to this day. It just brings back childhood memories, honestly.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
no,
what the fuck is that? Oh man, I kind of wish that we had video this time.
I can put up a picture of it or something.
Yeah, no.
So just send it
absolutely.
to me and I'll put up a picture of it.
Yeah.
But
Ooh.
this is at the like 25-minute mark, so I'll remember that
Okay,
and we
yeah,
can.
yeah.
But so I was watching, I think, Big Rock Candy Mountain, and sorry, just I totally disrespected country music.
Yeah.
And I was in my crib, and I there's this like big bunny thing, and that used to always scare me.
Yeah.
And
He
it
was-
probably would to this day too.
Oh yeah. Well, he was like, if I remember, he was like the antagonist.
Yeah, he was the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up until the end.
Yeah, and then he-
everybody's friends.
Yeah,
but,
because that's basically a kid's show.
Oh yeah.
And I got scared, so I crawled out of my crib and I ran into the kitchen where my parents were because they were making dinner or something. And I was like, the bunny is there, or something like that. And I was just freaked out. That's the only paranormal thing that I remember.
And it wasn't even
And it's not even paranormal. Yeah.
You were just freaked out.
I was just freaked out by a TV show or a movie. That's it.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing from that house that I remember. Now, there is stuff from the other house
Right.
that I remember because
Yes.
I was definitely, because we lived there for 15 years, so I was definitely older.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and the other house. Well, okay, so really quick, like let me fill in people on fill in the gaps about the first house that I was talking about, the one with the whistle down the hallway. So I like that was just an instance between Mom and I that something weird like that happened, but other things that would happen. So in this, so you walk into the house and you had the hallway that led to the kitchen and to the bedrooms, and then you walk into this big opened living room. Well, in this living room there was there was the back door that led to the backyard, and then right next to the back door there was. It hasn't happened again.
I keep looking over just in case.
I'm making sure nothing's moving, but no, it hasn't happened again. If it happens again, I swear I'm letting you know, because I'm telling you, like they're moving right now, but they're not.
It's just the fan.
No, I'm telling you, like I am crazy, but this part I'm not crazy about. I swear the thing was like violently or swinging. But anyway, so next to the back door in this in the living room, there was another open doorway that led to what we called the computer room. It was basically just the office, and I can speak for everybody. We all would see a shadow figure in that room all the time, and it was never like we would see it head on. It would always be in our periphery, and so the thing is we all never really spoke about it. We never talked about it openly. I mean, it was creepy.
It was a shared experience.
It was a shared experience. And so when, I don't remember who brought it up for the first time. I think it was Mom who brought it up for the first time. And I was like, you saw it too? And then I remember Dad being like, he'd be like, yeah, I experienced that too. And I don't remember if our older brother ever mentioned it.
Do you know the history of that house?
We heard rumors that it was over a burial site, but we never got confirmation over it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could look it up now and see.
Yeah.
But
just go to Google Maps and just do it, or like move it back a couple years,
Well, that house was, that neighborhood was established in, I think it was the 80s.
Yeah, so I think there's, maybe.
I was about to say, so we would have to backtrack quite a bit in order to see. But I mean, we could always look up because I believe you can look up burial sites. But I mean, that was what it was rumored to be. We don't know for sure, but we did have that all of us had that shared experience. The experience that Mom and I had, nobody else was in the house. So that was just between.
Dad was probably at work.
Yeah. Dad was at work. Alex. Well, okay, so everybody knows Alex. It's getting like kind of weird to be like, oh, my older brother.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so Alex was outside. He was playing basketball, and of course he didn't hear it, so it was just mom and I who was we were the only ones that experienced that instance. But about the shadow figures, yeah, I mean, I remember just multiple times. I mean, we lived in that house from 2000 to 2006, so about 6 years.
Yeah.
And within that time, I would say probably a handful of times, no more than about 5 or 6 times, I saw a shadow figure, and that was really the most prominent thing.
So like once a
There-
year.
Yeah, I mean, essentially.
Every year around Halloween, you would
Oh,
see
yeah,
this
yeah.
figure.
No, and that's just it. Like people, well, a lot of people don't, like, they always say, "Oh, well, this activity was happening, around, October or September or even like November, those months." And it all kind of boils down to them just being kind of creeped out
Mm-hmm.
because it is the more Halloween-ish time.
Yeah.
No, this was happening year round. And like I
Yeah.
said, the whistle, that happened in the
In the
springtime.
spring,
Yeah. So
yeah.
it was nowhere near Halloween, and that happened. So yeah, I mean, these were legitimate happenings, and it was, yeah, it got to the point where I believe it was mom who spoke up and said, like, well, I just saw, this. And again, the rest of us kind of chirped in. We were like, yeah, we've seen it too. And it wasn't just there. I mean, I would love to have mom on the podcast, because she's got a story about,
Oh, yep.
yeah, about
I know
when,
what story you're talking
right,
about.
when she was sleeping.
Yep.
And and that's another story. I never had anything like that happen. But the shadow figure wasn't just in the office or the computer room. It was kind of all around the house. I'm just saying, like, where we all saw
That
it
was
collectively.
prominent.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
we all saw it collectively was in that room. So that room had to have something going on,
Yeah.
But I mean,
Have you? Oh, sorry.
No, continue.
This isn't necessarily like ghost, paranormal kind of thing. Have you ever heard of Uncanny Valley?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
That stuff scares me so bad.
Oh yeah. No, like, and the thing is, to have your own stories to where you can relate to them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people who haven't experienced anything, they'll hear these stories and they're like, oh, I mean, that's a little far-fetched. When you have that happen to you, like first-hand experience, and you listen to these stories, you're like, no, I could definitely see that happening, and because you can look up on YouTube, videos, or you can listen to stories and everything, and a lot of these can be chalked up to, especially the videos. There's so many fake videos on YouTube where you can just tell, like, you can really tell by the people's acting. They'll be sitting at
Like,
the dinner table.
whoa.
Yeah. They'll be
Yeah.
sitting at the dinner table, and a chair will move right beside them, and they'll be like, what? Whoa, no way! I can't believe that just happened.
I caught it on camera.
Right,
I caught it
yeah.
on video.
Exactly, and you're like, all right,
Yeah.
come on, let's work on our acting a little bit.
Yeah.
But when it comes to because there are legitimate paranormal videos on YouTube, and you look at it and you're just like, that's crazy. And then you remember some instances that you've had, and you're like, well, it might not be that crazy.
Yeah.
It could be it could be way more realistic than what your rational mind is trying to do. Because you see something that's out of the norm, like a shadow figure or whatever it may be, and immediately your mind is trying to rationalize it. And that's what, I don't want to talk about it. We just heard a noise coming from upstairs. I don't want to talk about it. I really don't. Dude, no. Nope. Nope. Anyway, I'm gonna keep talking.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I feel like your mind is trying to rationalize things, and actually, this kind of goes into like anxiety,
Hmm.
because you're like,
You're trying to rationalize.
yeah, you're
something.
trying to rationalize something that's out of the norm, whether it be something that you've seen or that you feel like. When it
Mhm.
comes to anxiety, your body's creating this feeling, and it's abnormal for you on a normal day, and so your mind's trying to rationalize, and what's happening is your mind can't rationalize it necessarily, and that causes the panic.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happens to people when they are approached by an experience that could be possibly paranormal. I think their mind is like, okay, well, what could that have been to make this, um, something, like it's the wind, or it's,
Mhm.
it's, the house settling, or whatever it may be, something. Your mind is trying to create a scenario to
Yeah.
where you can rationalize, but sometimes there's no rational explanation. The whistle, there's I have, unless someone has an idea that's listening in on this podcast.
You know, it'd be really weird. Sorry.
No, what?
If the audio messes up,
God, I would.
move.
I'm not cool with that at all. I'm not cool with that at all. I don't fear the paranormal. It does creep me out. I don't fear it though. It doesn't make me like go into like fight or flight.
Yeah.
But when it comes to stuff like that, like it does make me uncomfortable,
Mhm.
Um, but like what I was saying is, unless someone who's listening to this has a good explanation for the whistling, I mean, we, to this day, and I this was what, 20, probably about 20 years ago. I would say
Yeah.
in the realm of probably about 20 to 21, 22 years ago that this happened to me, and I think about it.
Daily.
Well, not daily. It's
I think about it daily. It
no,
freaks me
no.
out.
Yeah, I don't think about it daily, but I have thought about it so many times, and I've tried to rationalize it in my own head what it could have been, but there is no rational explanation. If Alex weren't outside,
Mhm.
and you know and we heard it, I could chalk it up to something that happened outside. A car went by, a plane
Mhm.
flew over, whatever it may be. But I mean, when we questioned him, hey, did you hear anything? Did you see anything? And he replied with no. I mean, it was so real. It was so inside of the house.
Mhm.
It was like someone was walking down the hallway whistling.
Cuz I thought you said um that you felt like a wind or something, right?
Yeah, and again, I could chalk that up to me just being,
Paranoid.
yeah, paranoid and kind of creeped out. But you hear about that a lot with paranormal stories where people will be like, "Oh, well, I felt this, cold rush of air, or I got cold chills, in this room where this significant thing happened, forever ago." And so I don't want to say that part was a part of it, because it could have definitely have been just me being freaked out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, everything is speculation, I guess, when it comes to this stuff. But I am saying that I like fully believe something was going on in that house, because too many things happened, not just to me, but all to the whole family, that all coincided with each other. Like, I wasn't the only one to experience the whistle. Mom was there. She heard it, and she will completely vouch for me that all that happened verbatim of what I said.
Yeah.
And um So, but the second house that we moved into, that one was a 2-story house. The first one was a single story. The second one was a 2-story house, and there were some happenings that went on in that house, but it was nothing like the first house. We would hear
Creaking.
yeah
and
creaking
stuff.
yeah creaking upstairs, but the house was very, you walk upstairs and I mean,
But it wasn't that old of a house either. It was built in 2001.
right, but what I'm saying is, like, I guess the overall structure could have been maybe put together a little bit better, because
Yeah.
you walk upstairs and there were creaky boards
Yeah.
all over the place
Yeah.
in almost every room, especially down the hallway, and everything. So when we would hear creaking, that was a little more like, okay, it could legitimately just be the house kind of maybe shifting or something like that, which sounds weird to begin with, because it's like, why the hell is a house moving? But I mean, it could have been windy out, it could have been the change in temperature, whatever it may be. Now, the things that really were weird were, we all would hear in together and on separate occasions, we would all hear footsteps walking up and down the stairs. That was weird.
Yeah.
That was genuinely weird. Because like I just said, we would hear it while we were all together, and we would hear it on our own. And so, and it was multiple times. It wasn't just like one happening of it going on. So, I mean, that's the only thing that I could really recall from that house.
I remember one thing. The four of us, so you, Mom, Dad, and I were all downstairs, and I was playing with like solitaire cards.
Oh, okay.
Just regular like playing cards, and I was doing like magic tricks or something.
Right.
And that'll be relevant in a second. And we were you and Mom were talking. I was, doing a card show for Dad. And I was probably like 8. And then like all of a sudden we hear something like a loud thud from upstairs. And it was loud enough to where we all stopped what we were doing and looked at each other.
I was down there?
Yeah, you were down there.
God, why don't I remember this?
Well, you and Mom went upstairs. It sounded like it came from my room.
Which is bananas.
Yeah, both of you have anxiety.
That's why people die in scary movies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, let me just go check out this weird sound.
For real.
They're fucking dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, oh God. And it sounded like it came from my room. But Dad was like, no, that didn't come from your room. Probably just, saying that because I was freaked out.
Yeah.
And I started like crying because it scared me. And he was like, it was probably just like a rat in the attic or something, just trying to come up with anything that would calm me down.
Right, yeah.
And he was like, or like, a bird flew into the side of the house because it was dark out.
Yeah.
And
because he was the rational mind.
Yeah.
When it came to stuff like this.
Out of the 4 people, there was one rational mind.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you and Mom came back downstairs, and there was nothing. But the reason the cards come into play is because like shortly after that, or like right before it, I pulled a card and I was like, is this your card? And it was Dad's card. So I don't know if that had something to do with it, but or that was just Dad being like, good job, that was my card, but it like wasn't actually his card.
That actually could be it.
Yeah. I have a feeling that
Dad was just like, you know what, she's young.
I've had a long day at work. I'm just gonna play around.
I'm just gonna hand this one to her. Yeah, no, it totally is my card. And like, he's like, it's so not my fucking card.
It wasn't an ace.
Yeah. I don't remember that story, honestly. But I mean, I don't remember what I had for breakfast. So that's not saying much. But I don't remember a lot of of, you know,
Ooh, the doll in my room,
the doll in your room.
the porcelain doll, when Mom and I were at Bob's house. Do you remember that?
I don't.
So, okay.
Well,
So,
really quick, to give a little bit of backstory, Bob is our late
oh, yeah,
Bob is our late grandmother. Her name was Linda, but she didn't want to be called grandma or anything like that. But she so we had a nickname for her, Bob, and when
B-O-P,
Yeah,
not Bob.
no, not Bob, it was B-O-P, Bob, and she it was her doll, wasn't it? Like it came from their house, wasn't it?
She's the one that gave it to me. She found it at an estate sale.
Okay, which already is a red flag.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she knew that it would freak me out. So she knew that it would freak you out. So she gave it to me
Oh yeah.
to freak
yeah.
you out.
She was such a
Prankster.
prankster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so was Grandpa Tom.
Yeah.
Grandpa Tom was
Not near as much though.
not near as much, but he would play pranks like that.
Yeah.
Well, along those lines, and
Yeah.
so, yeah, it was so her personality
Oh,
to
yeah.
do something like that.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
anyway, so you were.
So-
this is the time that you were living there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was living at Bob's house.
Mhm.
And I had 2 porcelain dolls that I specifically kept away from me because they scared me. There was one that, Bob gave me that it was a clown. It was a clown porcelain doll.
Right. Okay, I remember that.
And she got it at an estate sale. And then there was another one that Mom found really pretty and she wanted to get it for me.
I vaguely remember that one.
That one, just a beautiful doll, but
Did it have like brown hair?
blonde. It was
Blonde? Then I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm thinking of.
And so I used to like dolls. They never really bothered me. But then this kind of made me realize that, oh, these are kind of creepy. Plus the movie Annabelle, like
Oh,
that,
yeah.
and the real Annabelle doll and stuff like that. That
Yeah.
stuff, I don't mess with that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
But so I came back over to the house where you were, and the doll was like facing the wall because it was on my desk and I didn't want it facing my bed,
Yeah.
and it was facing the wall or it was on the ground or something. And then I came over the next day or like a couple days, it was like a week later, and the doll was facing my bed, both dolls. And I was like, haha, funny joke, Austin. And I went into your room and you were like, I haven't been in your room.
No, and here's the thing. So I did play a prank on you with the porcelain clown doll, but it wasn't that.
What was it?
It was the time where I think you had it in your closet, and I went into your
And you
room,
put it on my bed.
and I put it on your bed.
Right.
I swear.
Right.
Again, I swear that was the only time that I
Yeah.
messed with that doll.
Yeah.
Because
I do remember that.
Yeah,
Because I
it-
came home from school and I was like, Mom!
Yeah. It creeped me out.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to mess with it. So
Yeah.
so that was the only time that I messed with it. This time that you're talking about, I feel like if I would have done it, I would have, for one, remembered it, and
Remembered
by
it.
now I would have owned up to it.
Yeah, because that was 2019. That was
Yeah,
4
yeah.
years ago.
Right,
Almost
exactly.
5.
So I didn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah. And I went into your room and you were like, no, I didn't mess with it
Yeah.
or whatever. And I didn't believe you at first. There's also another story because you were very like typical older brother messing with younger sister.
Yeah, but I wasn't.
You weren't doing it all the time.
I wasn't all the time, and I wasn't like.
Mean.
Yeah, I wasn't mean about it. I mean, okay, scaring people, that is mean.
Yeah.
I will say that, but I wasn't like scarring you for life.
No,
no.
no.
Or anything like that. Something
No.
like that.
No, but there was this one time where there was this big spider on the ground near my door, and I got 7 inches from it because I was like, that's a fake spider. I went downstairs and I was like, funny joke, Austin, whatever. Do you remember that?
No, but I do have
Oh.
another story about that house.
Okay. Okay.
Oh my
Cool.
God. Yeah, that just reminded me. We're gonna
Um.
have to wrap this up. We've got about 10 minutes before it's an hour.
Yeah.
And so finish telling your story. I'll tell my story, and then we'll
Okay.
yeah.
So and I went downstairs, and you were like, I didn't put a fake spider in your room. I was like, yeah, you did. There's a spider in my room.
I do remember this.
And because
Yep.
Dad and I were gonna go camp out in the backyard because he just had just
Yeah.
gotten a new tent.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yep.
and
Because
I
we're naturally outdoorsy people. I'm
yeah,
just kidding. Like,
no, at all, not at all.
No. That was just for fun.
Yeah.
You know.
And I I went back upstairs with Dad because I was like, that it's a fake spider.
Yep.
And Dad
Yep.
killed it, and I was convinced that it was you. But as soon as he killed it, I was like,
Yeah.
maybe he wasn't messing with me. Maybe he doesn't do this all the time or something like that.
Yep. No, I do
But,
remember that.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah. But okay, tell your story.
So my story was, it was probably, oh gosh, it was probably just a couple of years before we moved. But it was at the 2-story house. This wasn't at the whistling house. It wasn't
the
there.
Whistle House.
Yeah. No, so typically the only thing that we would ever hear would be like footsteps leading like either up and down the stairs or maybe
Or in
like
the hallway.
in the
or
hallway or
something,
something like that. Yeah. That was really the only thing until this happened, and it was freaky. It was so freaky, and you could chalk it up to be, okay, it could have been a bird that flew into the attic, or maybe another animal that could have messed with it. So, but okay, this was probably a year or two before we moved, and I had to either get something out of the out of the attic or from the attic, and I was walking up, and there were and nobody goes into the attic all the time unless you've got something that for our family at least, we never used the attic. The only time we used the attic was to get decorations
Yeah. Like Christmas, Halloween, stuff like that.
Right. And this was
even then we wouldn't really go into the attic because it was mostly in the closet in your room, in the spare room.
Oh yeah. So there was a creepy unfinished spare room that was in my room, but so we never used the attic entrance for like anything. That door stayed closed constantly, so there was no traffic going through that little ladder leading into the attic. So I remember getting something from there. I don't remember what it was. I was either taking something out of the attic or putting something in the attic. But so we've had these fake plastic spiders forever, and they're Halloween decorations, and they were always kept in the Halloween box that we kept in the spare room, not in the attic entrance. We always kept them in the spare room.
I remember this now.
Yeah, freaky as shit. I mean, oh my God. And so I go up there, and so to paint a picture, how you get to the attic is you pull on the string that's on the ceiling, and it opens up this door, and then a ladder you can unfold, and you walk up the ladder into this little into the little walkway that it's the attic.
Yeah.
And this so you walk up the ladder, and there's a little piece of particle board that you can step on. And on this particle board, I just get my head into the attic. And on this piece of board, there's like 2 or 3 of the spider decorations. And they're all flipped upright. And I'm thinking, okay, that's weird, but whatever. I didn't think that all of our decorations weren't even in the attic at the time. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just focused on what I needed to do. But I see them and I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I kind of brushed them away because I didn't want to step on them. I didn't want to break them. I kind of brushed them away to the side, do what I have to do, and that's the end of that. Well, I don't remember how long it was, but maybe it wasn't very long. It was probably like maybe a week later. Um, I think I was putting more stuff into the attic. So I open it up. Again, nobody goes up there.
Mm-mm.
Dad hadn't gone up there. Mom didn't like going up there.
I wouldn't have gone
I was
up
about to say
there.
you wouldn't have gone up there, and I would have remembered if I had.
Yeah.
So I go up there, and again, I only get my head into the attic, and I see these decorations, and they are, a couple of them are flipped upside down, but they're all back in the middle of this walkway. And how they moved there, I have no idea. There could be a completely plausible, completely logical explanation for it. Again, it could have been a bird that mistook them as food,
Mm-hmm.
and it moved them. I mean, we had the attic pretty well,
Closed.
yeah, closed off to where I don't think. But I mean, whatever. You know, it could have been. We live, you know, right behind some woods area, so it could have been
Yeah.
a rat. It could have been a squirrel. I don't know. All I know is when I brought it to everybody's attention, everybody was like, "No, we haven't been up there," and immediately I was like, "Okay, well, some spooky shit is happening." So I'm gonna take a break from moving, you know, some stuff into the attic. But I mean, that was really the only other instance in that house that that like could have been even remotely paranormal. Um, you know, the real compelling thing was the footsteps leading up and down the stairs. That was really freaky.
Mm.
But yeah, we're at 3 minutes before it's 1 hour. I guess we can come to a close unless you have something else. Yeah, but
No.
you know, thank you guys so much for watching or for listening, I guess. You know, we really appreciate all the support. We love all you guys. We would absolutely love to hear your paranormal experiences. So if you guys want to comment on the video, again, this is going to be posted on Facebook, on our group page, as well as on our YouTube page. You guys are more than welcome to comment your own paranormal activity stories, or even comment about our stories and what you guys
Yeah.
think. We love hearing from you guys, and we really hope you guys enjoyed this little. It wasn't supposed to turn into anything
No,
paranormal. It was
no.
supposed to be purely about the.
Who knew a Christmas decoration could switch the whole thing?
I know, right? Like, this was not a planned segue
No.
at all. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. Again, we love all of you, and we really appreciate all the support that you guys have given us, and we really hope that you enjoyed this episode. Again, we might do an episode next week. We might do another one bi-weekly. You know, we'll of course, you know, update you guys, and we're trying to get a setup to where we can have both just audio and video.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying out audio this week just as like a little twist on to see if it might help people, you know, listen to us while they're, you know, doing work, and they don't have to feel like they have to watch or anything. But you know, we're still trying to figure everything out. It's only our third episode, but we guys hope you have a really good. We guys. Whatever. I'm talking too much, and I forgot my water, so I'm like, I can feel my voice giving out. But we hope you guys have a really good
rest of your day.
Yeah, rest of your day, and you know, rest of you
this
know,
week.
Yeah, and everything, and
the month, the year.
Yeah, because it's again, it's a stressful time of the year, but
yeah.
But yeah, that's it. So I don't have anything else, you guys stay safe and stay sane. So we'll see you guys. Well, we'll talk to you guys later on.
Bye.
Bye.